bumabati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Henry Grunwald once said, "Journalism can never be silent. That is its greatest virtue and its greatest fault. It must speak, and speak immediately, while the echoes of wonder, the claims of triumph, and the signs of horror are still in the air."
According to Andrew Vach, journalism is what maintains democracy. It is the force for progressive social change.
Blessed Tuesday afternoon, our dear Journtastic learners. We are your Journtastic tutors today. Yours truly, Tutor Zen.
And together with Tutor Josa, this is Tutor War, and this is Campus Journalism for Beginners.
Ayan, good afternoon sa ating lahat, most especially sa ating mga Journtastic learners. How are you this afternoon, and how are you as well, Tutor War?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Tutor Zen. No, despite the fact that I'm only having a little injury, but still, we have to keep moving and continue to live, no, with a grateful heart, with a happy heart. How about you po, Tutor Zen? How are you po today?
Yes, Tutor War, a little bit tired as well since there were lots of things to do in school, school-related activities, and I had to travel earlier from our district office, but it's all good now. But what about you, Tutor War? I heard that you had that injury. So, kamusta na po yung injury natin, Tutor War? Okay lang po ba? Or literal injury po talaga ba, Tutor War?
A little, ano lang po siguro, a little sore because of a lot of typing activities and tasks given to us lately po, no? So siguro, ano lang po, I just need to rest and keep this, ano ba tawag dito, bandage in me so that
Oh.
it will not move, no? So a little, ano lang, a little sore lang naman po. Thank you for
Mm.
asking, to then.
Yes, yes, Tutor War. And with that also, Tutor War, no, kumustahin naman po natin yung ating mga learners. We do hope actually, Tutor War, no, na gumaling na yung injury po ninyo. And with that po, Tutor War, also let's try to acknowledge also our readers or journtastic learners for this afternoon. Would you like to do the honor first, Tutor War?
Yes, Tutor Zen, let me just say good afternoon to Andre Armas from 10 Agapito Flores, Stephanie Mallory Santos from 101A, Brent Boholano from Caloocan High School, and so as with Axel Jan Hermosada from Caloocan High School, Dwayne Labine, Javette Tapladov. Hello, Tutor Zen and Tutor War, according to
Hello, Tutor
Javette.
Javeth. Yes po. Tutor
Ayan.
Javeth is one of the DepEd ETUlay tutors in po Tutor War. Yes,
Opo,
for
Sir
junior high
Javette.
school. Yes po, and with that also, let us meet Rename Andaya of 101ACHS, Justin Keith, vendor of GAS 11, Federal City of Bugo Senior High School, Alrish Megan Pigar from Caloocan High School, and Mark Joseph Eusebio from 102A Caloocan High School. Ang dami nila ngayon, Chutarwa, right?
Ayan po, opo, nagpapa-shoutout din po si Sir John Dave Sanko. Shout out po, Sir John Dave.
Yes, at sa lahat-lahat ng ating mga Journtastic learners for this afternoon, once again, good afternoon, and I hope that everyone is doing well for this afternoon. Now, let's move forward to our war. With that, our dear Journtastic learners, you are still with Tutor Warlene from SDO Caloocan, yours truly from SDO Agusan del Sur, at the same time, Tutor Joseph from SDO Manila. And again, we are your tutor tandems for campus journalism for beginners. And with that as well, Tutor War is the episode guide for our dear Journtastic learners. We are already through with weeks 1 to 4. And for this afternoon, we are already on the fifth week, and it will focus on the parts of campus paper. Ano kayo yung mga parts na dapat nating malaman or ma-learn for our school paper? Ayan. Okay, so with that also, we have here our goals for this afternoon session, our dear Fantastic learners. What are our target objectives? The first one is for us, to identify the school paper staff described in the statements, which will be given to you later on. And the next goal is we have enumerate the sections of school paper, which is our main topic for this afternoon. And the last one is explain what sections all about. Ayan, yung contents ng ating sections. All right. So, Tutor War, we have prepared variety of activities for our dear Fantastic learners in this afternoon. And what is this first activity, Tutor War?
Okay, so for our first activity, we shall have just a recap of what transpired last session. And this activity is entitled Who Am I? So based po from the campus journalist stuff, no, that we have discussed last meeting, all you have to do is to give us which is the correct answer on the questions or being described in the following statement. Ayan. So tutor,
Ayan. All
then let us
right.
go.
Yes. Yes, Tutor War, and to our dear Fantastic learners, get ready with your answers in the comment section as we will start now. All right. So the first description in here is this one. I update the list of school papers sent by different schools. Now, who do you think is the school paper staff described for the first question? Is it A, copy editor, B, circulation manager, or C, literary editor? Now, to our Journtastic learners, just type the number as well as the letter of your answers. Ayan. Mhm. Again, no, uulitin ko yung question. I update the list of school papers sent by different schools. And as what I've mentioned or what we've mentioned the last time, siya yung parang documenter ng ating school paper staff. All right. Okay, so I can see the answers now in here. Tudor War from Mary May. Ayan, Mary Mayonson. Number one is B. Renel B. Frederick. Okay, so Frederick from STEM 11 Uranium, Jet Andre B, Cheney B. Now, to our dear learners, let's try to check if your answers are correct. All right, so
Very
it's
good.
letter B, and a lot of you got the correct answer. Congratulations for the first one. Now let's have the number two tutor war.
Yes, for our number two, I facilitate communication between the editorial staff and, of course, my school paper advisor. Who am I? Is it letter A, copy reader, letter B, managing editor, or letter C, editor in chief? I facilitate communication between my editorial staff and my SPA, school paper advisor. Who am I? Type in.
Mm-hmm. And there you are, Tutor War. We can see answers in here from Chenny Corinne. It's number two, C. Maria Elizabeth C. Mary May still C. Now, let's try to check again our answers or your answers, our dear learners. Okay, you got it correctly for number two. It's letter C. Job well done. What about for number three? Who am I? I give out assignments to feature writers. Again, I am the one who give out assignments to feature writers. Is it A, feature editor, B, managing editor, or C, associate editor? So technically, no, may clue na tayo in our options, right? So
Definitely, I know that everybody will get this one correctly, tutors.
yes, Tutor War. Again, you just type the number as well as the letter of the correct or of your answer. All right. So hello, Romy Cleon from Caloocan High School. Okay. Mm-hmm. There you go. So we have answers in here. Tutor War. We have James Maswangan, 3A. Reniel Porteliano, A. Joanna Lindsay Meneses, A. Patricia Soteres. And let's try to check here, fantastic learners, if you got it correctly. Ayan. Feature
Yes.
editor, of course. Yes, ipapasa sa kanya lahat ng mga feature articles ni feature writers. What about for number four, tutor work?
Number four, who am I? I draw illustrations for feature and other non-news articles. I am the one who's doing the drawing. Am I letter A, photojournalist, or letter B, circulation manager, or letter C, a layout artist? Who am I? Number four,
Mm-hmm.
and then your letter of the correct answer.
Mm-hmm. Ayan. All right, so there you go, tutor war. We have from Chini, Maria, John Dave. Okay, they answered letter C. Now let's try to check if C is correct. Ayan, very good. Correct.
Yes.
For number four, and the last one for this activity, I prepare pictorial articles of the school paper. Ayan. So I prepare pictorial articles of the school paper. Sino kaya to? Is it A, photojournalist, B, circulation manager, or C, layout artist? Ayan. Okay. Hello, Hannah Grace from Caloocan High School. Ayan. So we have, oh, again from Chinny and Maria Elizabeth for five. Mary May also, letter A. Now let's try to reveal the answer. Ayan. Congratulations. You got it correctly for number five. And how many scores did you get or did you get from the activity? Is it perfect score? 5/5? Ayan. So congratulations again sa ating mga dear learners. No, it's just for our review and then our now, War, this is also one of the most awaited parts sa ating session, the pronouncement of the Student Journalist of the Week. Again, you have submitted commendable outputs, our dear fantastic learners, but we will be announcing one, and that's the cream of the crop. Now, Tutor War, would you like to do the honor to
Yes,
announce?
so for the announcement of our student journalist of the week, of course, no teacher, again, just like what you've mentioned, we would like to commend everybody for your great job, and we hope that you still participate onto the next set of our activities. But for today, the winner is no other than dun, 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 dun,
Yes. Okay, so
Carlo E.
mhm.
Malonzo.
Yeah, hey, congratulations, Carlo. And for the information of everybody, Carlo P. Malonzo is still a grade 7 student, but he has this commendable output for our campus journalistic task last session. Ayan. So congratulations once again, Carlo. And with that also, our dear journalistic learners, most of you, diba, got the perfect score for our first activity. Now let's have another set of activity. And this one is called to reward the
Word riddle.
Hmm. Ayan. So what are we going to do in this activity, our dear fantastic learners? So it would just be easy. All you have to do is to read the riddle that we will be showing to you. And also letters will be provided as clue for the words that we're looking for. And just use the idea that is reflected in the riddle that we got in here. Now, ready na ba ang ating mga itulay tutor? I mean, tuties, yes. So let's start this one, Tudor War. Here we go.
Let, let us start. Now, this is my riddle. First day high, this plate I love, but it holds no food, but it's all we all have. What am I? What is this? What do you think is this word? First day high, this plate I love, it holds no food, but it's what we all have. So basically, this is what we see, especially during the start of our school days. Hi, hello po, Ma'am Majen. Good
Good afternoon,
afternoon.
naman. Then, yes. And also to our learners, we have the clue letters in here. So what we're looking for actually is one word and it has letter N and letter P as clue letters.
So
So
basically, this
more
one I can see, no, tutors and sorry po. The one that we see in front of our chest, no, during the first day, do you use this one as well, ba? Before tutors and?
we actually do the training right away tutor war kasi our school is not yet offering SPJ. So we're still looking for the first activity that we engage in is looking for potential writers. What about in your school tutor war? Do you do that?
Yeah, we do this one, especially po if I'm not so familiar yet with the names of my students. We put this one in front of our chest. So this is where we can see, the teachers would see the name of our students. What do you think is this? That's
Mm-hmm.
already the clue.
Oo. Oh, ayan. Yes, most of our students actually, as what we can see in here, Tudor War answered newspaper, but we also have answer from Jean Theodore, Rachel Bakay. They answered nameplate. Now, alin kaya yung correct answer? Is it
Right.
newspaper or nameplate? Let's try to reveal, Tudor War. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Congratulations, Rachel and Jean Theodore. Yes, the correct answer is nameplate. All right. And remember, our topic for this afternoon is the sections or the parts of campus paper. Ayan, so nameplate. Now let's have the second riddle. Now everybody, all eyes here. Wow, all eyes here talaga, Tutor Warno. All right, so this is the riddle. Have you heard? It's everyone's word. Again, have you heard? It's everyone's word. Now we have the clue letters in here, H and L. What do you think is the word that we're looking for, our dear fantastic learners?
And sometimes you can see it in your head. Huh?
Hmm? Ayan, no? Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Wait, so we have from Angela May Coloma. Headline, Joanna Lindsay. Headline, Sophia Niasco. Headline, let's check your answers, our dear fantastic learners.
Yeah. Sophia, I
Ayan.
know, really know the answer for this one because she is one
Mhm.
of my news writer.
Oh, I see. Hello, Sophia. Nice to meet you. All right. So, congratulations for those who got the correct answer. Now, the last riddle that we have in here. Can you do the honor to read to the reward?
And of course, the last riddle is, you have it left and right, but you don't use them to write. Put them together and make an art, and you will form a shape of heart. What do you think is this? What do you think is
Mm-hmm.
this?
Oh, wow, ang bilis to the reward. Jeff Andre Francisco. Ears. Renil Puertoliano. Ears. Carl Jerwin as well. Now, let's try to reveal the answers. Yan. So, ears is the correct answer for the third riddle, and they got it right away, Tutor War. Again, how much score did you get from our second activity, our dear fantastic learners? All right. Just write
It's
it
not
in the
only,
comment section.
teacher, it's not only our jointastic learners who are really participating. I see some co-teachers of mine also participating.
Oh.
Ma'am Mary Jean Pagya, congratulations.
Wow, very supportive yung fellow teachers natin dyan, Tutor War,
Yes,
no?
definitely.
Yes. All right. So our dear fantastic learners, as what you can observe, our words have something to do with our lesson for this afternoon, and this is again the parts of the campus paper. Now, Tutor War, and to our dear fantastic learners, why do you think it is important for us to learn about the parts of the campus paper? Ano kaya reason kung bakit need natin ma-learn tong mga parts ng school paper natin? Ayan. We would also love to hear your ideas, our dear fantastic learners, in the comment section. Mm-hmm. What about you, Tutor War? Would you like to do the honor?
Yeah. So I guess no, as an SPA tutors, no, we have to know the basic parts of our newspaper or of our campus paper, not only for us to have something to share to our campus journalists, but also it is a reflection of how organized we are, what kind of newspaper we are offering to our school, and so as with our students as well. So yun po, it's very important that we know these basic parts because without these basic parts, we would not have a solid, credible, and responsible kind of newspaper. So yun
Mm-hmm.
po.
I agree with that, Tutor War. No, and also, if the organization of our campus paper is logical, we can also establish credibility on the part of our readers. Ayan. So there you go. Now, what are these parts? Let's go to the first one, and it's called the nameplate, and it's also part of our activity earlier, right, Tutor War?
Yes.
Yes. So, yes. So, what is this nameplate? So, nameplate contains the name, logo, and address of the school. To make it short, nameplate is the newspaper's name. Kaya sometimes nameplate is also called or sometimes can be called as a flag, pwede din siyang logo or masthead. Ayan. So, traditionally, newspaper templates or nameplates rather are printed in fancy style. May ano siya, may font style siya na ino-observe, and it's called black letter or old English. But now, in this time, mayroon tayong other fonts na prefer or pwede natin gamitin in our nameplate as long as it is preferred by the school paper staff. Ayan, so the design of our nameplate gives an air of authority to the newspaper at saka it implies the rich tradition of our school. Ayan, so as what was said by Tutor War earlier, no, our school paper is like a reflection of our school. So it is also very important, our dear fantastic learners, to have this catchy, neat, presentable nameplate for our school. Okay, what about you, Tutor War?
Yes, tutors, just like what you have mentioned, no, it's like a flag of a country. So a nameplate is a representation of what kind of paper we are representing. Just like with our paper, no. Before, kasi traditionally, when we have the nameplate, all we have to do is have the name written and then of course the logo. But now there are some newspaper or some school paper who are using or which are using yung mga background, yung school nila as the background, and then they
Mhm.
will just write the name of or the names of their newspaper. So just like what we are doing, ganun din po kami sa newspaper na. So thank you
Mhm.
po.
Yes, Tutor War, thank you also as well. Thank you also.
Ayan. So in
Now,
connection, ayan. So in connection, our next part is what we call the ears. So just like what we had a while ago, no? So you can see these are the little boxes on either side of the template which contains picture, title, and page of an important article. But in this example, we can see that there is only one ear. But there are some instances or some newspaper which will have two side by side ears. So this is where we can see some of the important articles that we can find inside our newspaper. So it's very important lang po na ipine-present niya lang po ito with the same time as with the banner and the headline news. So thank you,
Mhm.
Tutor Zen.
Yes, Tutor War, thank you for that too. And let's have the third part of our school paper, which is the index. And what is this index? All right. An index is a slug line indicating inside page story and the page number where it is located. Ayan. So it is a part of our school paper in which it's somewhat like a guide for our readers on what information are being placed inside our newspaper. At the same time, the page where this information can be located for also easy access for our readers. Ayan. So not all the information or not all the news can be found on the front part since we have this the size of the paper to the war, but with the index it would help us to notify or what do you call this give a heads up to our readers on what could they find inside our school paper. Now, would you like to add to that, Tudor War?
So thank you, tutors. And so just like what you mentioned, no, this is our parang preview po of what is the most important part or the focal part of each section in the newspaper. So for example, it's about editorial. So they just have to write there what's the main editorial article, and then so as with the feature and some of the sports. Some newspaper put their index below, some index po are placed on the sides, depending po doon kay layout artist and of course kay EIC on how they would like their indexes be presented. So, thank you po, Tutor Zen.
Wow. Thank you also to that, Tudor War. Now, let's have the next part, Tudor.
And the next part of our newspaper, ayan, is what we call the banner. The banner is the most important headline printed in bold, big letters in the front page. So, yun po yung agad natin nakikita, no? When we grab a paper, when we grab a newspaper, this is the banner. So, this is the most
Mm-hmm.
important news article that the paper has store for its reader on that specific day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, ganun lang po.
Yes.
Dapat
Laban lang. All right, and the next one, Tudor Warriors, that's the banner. And the next part of our school paper is what we call the headline. Ayan. So what is this headline? And I know na sa mga news na nakikita natin on TV, we can also encounter these words, our dear with this word rather, our dear journtastic learners. So headline refers to the general term for the titles of news stories. Lahat ng title ng ating news story found in our school paper are encapsulated in this what we call headline. At the same time, also headline gives the story in a nutshell. It's like it gives the idea or it gives the reader an idea on what the news is all about. So if the readers would know na ay yung news pala is about that, so it would now depend on the reader if they would decide to read or continue reading the article or not. So, we also have this rule na kapag mas malaki yung headline natin, although we have this banner, still pag malaki yung headline natin, it also means na mas or more important ang ating story. Ayan. So, that's for the headline. The next one, Tutor War.
then the next one is what we call the deck. So the deck po is the subordinate headline immediately below its mother headline, also known as a bank or read about. So basically, this is where we can see somehow a summary, an outline summary of what the article would like to point out on a certain article. Sometimes po, there is a direct speech po coming from the writer or from the person being interviewed, or sometimes po yung pinaka-essence po ng sinabi, that's what we are going to see on this kind of deck. Ayan. So, thank you po, Tutor Zen.
And thank you for that as well, Tutor War. Now let's have the lead. Lead, all right. So I know also that our SPJ students are already familiar with this one, Tutor War. And lead serves as introduction of the news story, usually the first and the second paragraphs. Ayan. So if we mentioned earlier that headline is important for our learners to establish in our news story, same also goes with the lead. Kasi yung lead, ito yung nagko-contain ng ating summary of the news. At the same time, it answers the basic questions about the issue, the five W's and one H question. At the same time also, ito yung binabasa ng ating mga readers first before proceeding to the details of our news story. So, ang ating lead, pwede siyang word, pwede din siyang sentence, pwede din siyang paragraph. But usually, when we talk about news story, kadalasan lead natin is in paragraph form. Again, importante yung lead kasi ito yung factor as well para for the reader to decide if they would continue reading the news story or not. Ayan. So, that's the lead. The next one, Tudor War.
And the next part of our newspaper is, of course, the news story. So basically, what you see on the first pages of our school papers, no, these are news stories. So these are the story of an event composed of the lead and, of course, the text elaborating the lead. So these are just the data or the information that or events that your school would like to show to its readers kung ano yung mga gusto nilang pangyayari. It could be about the achievement of the schools, ano na ba yung mga whereabouts of the schools, what are the new facilities. So in here, no, they could able to present to us our what is really happening inside the school, or even what is the school doing in a particular time, especially in this time of pandemic. So it's very important that we must be aware, no. Some aminin man natin no, hindi tutors, no, some students are not really into news, no, but it is
Mm-mm.
very important that we must be well aware of what's happening inside our school, so that we could able to share other people the experiences that we are having inside the school, especially no kapag tayo ay campus journalist. We this is a ano na form of promotion marketing strategy to encourage people to be part of the system that we are in.
Mhm. Yes, shooter war. And to add to that, also, hindi lang yung mga events natin within the school, but also the happenings in the community na somehow relevant sa ating school. Kasi nga, if you can still recall, our dear fantastic learners in the previous sessions, um, the newspaper or the school paper serves as a bridge of the school to the community. Yan.
Yeah.
So that's the story all about. Yes, thank you for that, Tutor War. And the next one is the column. So the column, basically, it is just a vertical section of a printed material. Ayan. So as what you can observe in our sample figure or sample picture here in our screen, may mga ano tayo dito na, parang kumbaga space, vertical. Okay, within the columns. Ayan, so tawag dyan is the column. So, for example, this one, so we have the group of words, tapos meron din tayo dito, parang siyang rectangular or, yes, rectangular form if we will try to connect the dots, but it's actually called a column. Now, would you like to add to that, Tudor War?
Actually, tutor one, this is, ay, tutor sa, this is in connection din po with the next
Ah,
part, which is the column rule. So basically,
ayan.
this column and column rule basically gives us a comprehensive view of
Mm,
how our newspaper is being arranged. Okay?
mm,
Mostly po with the high school level, we are having 5 column page. But there will be some parts po, minsan may mga kinakat kami doon na part, yung mga boxes part na tinatawag, na minsan, yung instead of having it into 2 columns, we do it in a 1 column lang. So, may mga
mm,
ganun kami, may mga ganung rules ngayon na ginagamit, which is applicable. And of course, with the column rule, the vertical line that divides the pages into columns. So,
mm,
there is just a little spaces po in between the column, and that is what we call the vertical rule. It is very important that all the vertical rule is ano po no, is same as with one another, so that the readers will not be will not be confused of which will be the next paragraph po. So there will be some papers that you will be seeing na minsan nalilito ka kung nasa na yung karugtong, tama ba ako, Tutor
mm.
Zen? So
Yes
with
po,
the,
Tudor War.
yan, dun sa column rule po kasi dun siya pumapasok. So we have to be aware of how are we going to manage the column and the column rule with
Mm.
our.
And usually Tudor War, no, the measurement of our column rule is usually 1 m rule. Am I right?
Yep, opo.
Ayan.
Pero minsan depende rin eh. Pag
Mhm.
wala ka ng masyadong article, dayain mo na lang sa ruling.
Ayan. Pero 'pag marami ano siya 'no, parang adjustment din sa ating layout artist
Opo,
kumbaga.
si layout
Mm.
artist po talaga.
Yes. Alright, so that's for the column and the column rule, tutor war. Alright, and we have the next one, the fold. Alright. So the fold is the imaginary horizontal line that divides the newspaper page equally into two parts. Ayan. So it's like imaginary line no na nagdi-divide sa ating newspaper into two. At the same time, usually 'pag pino-fold natin yung school paper natin, tutor war, 'di ba, we have this other half, for example, yung sa mga nakikita natin sa sidewalk na mga newspapers. Usually, the other half of the fold is being, um, what do you call this one, directly presented to the people, while the other one nakaano siya dun sa naka-cover na siya kasi nandun siya sa ilalim. So, accordingly, yung mga news story na nakikita natin on the the other part of the fold, yung nasa above niya, yung nakikita directly ng mga tao, tutor war, yun yung mga news na talagang importanteng mabasa ng ating mga fellows. Yan. So that's the fold.
Ayun, may
Alright.
rule din po diyan na sinusunod, Tutor Zen, 'no? Kapag pinold
Mhm.
mo ang newspaper into half, yung ganito, just like what you've said, 'no? Kapag yung first half niyan, maski yung mismong fold niyan, it must not ano, nandun siya dapat sa spaces. So, may mga
Mhm.
ganun pang ruling diyan.
Yes. Oo. Kasi ano naman kasi tutor war 'no, it's also awkward, especially sa ano
Yeah,
na 'pag naputol yung ano, yung story, 'di ba?
totoo.
Mm. Yes, so that's for the 11th part of the speaker. Now let's go to the word to the 12th part, and it's
Okay, and the last one for today's part of our campus paper is what we call the byline. So this is where the name of the writer is placed below the headline. So this is what you can see, the one inside the box. This is the name of the writer. Sometimes there
Mhm.
are some writers also na ini-include din yung tinatawag nating dateline. So the dateline is
Mhm.
the time or the date when the writer wrote that specific article. So minsan may
Mhm.
iba po may gumagawa nun, but then ang byline is very important para po ano tayo, no, yung anti-plagiarism. So you have to know, no, we have to write. But of course, in some paper, some newspaper, no, minsan nilalagyan namin yung pangalan, yung iba, kasi minsan sobra na yung dami ng articles na ginawa ng isang campus journalist. So we are asking their permission. Can we use your name or can we replace your name by the other person's name? So minsan pumapayag naman, minsan hindi.
Mhm. Yes, po tutor war. And also tutor war, no, most of the articles found in our school paper have this byline, except for the editorial article, right, tutor war?
Yes. Opo.
Mm. Walang byline sa ating editorial article since that article serves as the opinion of the everybody. Ayan, or the entire school paper staff. All right. So there you go, dear Journtastic learners. To sum up these parts of campus joint papers, or school paper rather, we have this 12 parts. Actually, there are more, but we just focus on this. Okay, so we have the first one, the nameplate. The second is the ears. The third, text. Fourth, banner. Fifth, headline. Sixth, deck. Seventh, lead. Eighth, news story. Nine, column, as well as the column rule. And we also have the fold and as well as the byline. Ayan. So, to our dear Journtastic learners, you can screenshot this one for your reference. All right. So, there you go. Now, our dear Journtastic learners, the campus Journtastic task of the week. Now, Tutor War, what is our task for our dear Journtastic learners?
Okay, so for our Journtastic task for this week is entitled Your Design, I Display. Make your own design on how you would like your newspaper be like. Do not forget to inject the parts of the newspaper we have discussed today. So this one po, tutors, and we are asking them to design, no, make their
Mm-hmm.
own kind of newspaper. So we will see how good you are when it comes to placing the headline, the byline, ayan,
The
the
nameplate.
banner, the
Or
nameplate.
even, yes, even the name of their desired tutor war, no, newsletter or newspaper, no, i-reflect din nila yung creativity ng kanilang name ng newspaper. Di ba po?
Yes.
Ayan. So, again, to our dear Journtastic learners, you can screenshot this one for you to save later on. And also, do not forget, we have the link below in which it is the link for the Facebook group wherein you can post your output for the week. Ayan. So, ini-encourage namin lahat ng Journtastic learners natin to upload your outputs in there so that the other tutors as well as our program heads at and all the personnel of the DepEd ETUlay, no, the working group rather, na ma-recognize yung outputs natin. Ayan. So, save that one as well. And there you go. So, for our reference tutor war,
Our reference is still from the Campus Journalism and the New Generation by Jelly Elio Alcunio 2011 edition.
there you go. And also, please stand by our dear Journtastic learners because as after this, we still have the ETUlay class. And also, do not forget the link, another link provided in here for our feedback in this session. So I hope that everyone got what do you call this, learned a lot of things in our session for this afternoon na ipapractice din natin sa ating schools. Ayan, and so much for that tutor war. Would you like to leave something to our dear Journtastic learners?
So before we end, Tutor Zeno, there's a question from James Maswangan. Question po, own news po ba ang namin or okay lang po na kumuha sa net? Actually, we are after only with the design. Okay? So, kahit ang gawin nila doon yung mga type lang na GGGGG, FFF, that's okay. We just need to see the design of how you would like your paper to look like. Ayan.
Yes.
Thank you.
But if they have this tutor war, but if they have this articles na ano na nila, parang old articles nila, they can also use that one. Pero pwede yung mga information natin online. Ayan. So, tutor war?
Ayan. So thank you, our dear Journtastic learners for today for being so participative and enthusiastic into our session today. We hope that we will see you next session as we move on to the next part of this wonderful journey of journalism. Together with Tutor Jessa, this has been Tutor War, reminding all of us to always remember to be happy and don't forget to smile. And please, 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 please be a blessing to everyone. Thank you and God bless.
Ayan. And also, just remember, our dear Journtastic learners, no, na we are just travelers in the lane of love and learning. Down the road, we will surely meet again. Ayan. So, see you again sa ating next session for the Campus Journalism for Beginners. Thank you so much, our dear Journtastic learners. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Huwag aalis ha dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!